You're listening to the podcast that changed the game and rocked an entire profession. Talking about shit in law enforcement that keeps poor leaders up at night. When others run scared and hide behind fake policies, the Roll Call Room podcast tells it like it is. No bullshit. No matter how hard these Steves try, we keep killing it. And now, here are your hosts, Nick and Mark.
Welcome to another episode of the Roll Call Room. I am one of your hosts, Nick. With me is the new White House press secretary, Mark. Surprised that you took that job, bro. There's some tough shoes to fill, my friend.
Oh man, Caroline Levitt, dude.
She's phenomenal.
Great. I always thought Kayleigh McEnany was good.
Nah, she blows her out of the water. Yeah, she's.
Yes, this is why we vibe so well in this show. But
yeah,
and then there was a what the hell they call her, Binder.
Yeah,
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar or whatever the hell her three.
the liar in chief.
Yeah. But no, Caroline Levitt, man, and she's got a smile on her face and just calls those people out. Well, your network always reports negative, so no matter what I say up here, you're going to give it a negative slant. But I'll go ahead and answer your question for you.
Yeah, I really hope that the next person is equally as good as her. And I mean, I totally respect her reasons for moving on.
Well, since she had the first kid, I'm like, yeah, her days are numbered. And then the second one popped along.
The second one, I was like, when she took that break after having the second one, I was like, the wheels are spinning as far as I'm away from home, and it's, I mean, that is a 24/7 fucking job, man. Like, good for her that she was even able to do it with the first kid. So,
how these parents that are my age are raising young kids, I'm like,
fuck that.
I'll be 60 this year, just by the way. But
dude, you're old.
I know, right? We had a basic academy. And I went to the academy in 92.
Jesus Christ.
So my question is, all right, raise your hand if you were alive in the 90s. All right, raise your hand if you were alive in 1992. And the hands just keep getting
no hands. Less. They just keep
less. Yeah. We had
was born in 92. That's what you're going to start hearing.
Yeah. Think about the math there, though. It's like, God damn. That is something. Well, we had one in class here. He was born in 05. Does that math? They were 21. God. I'm like, what?
God,
you're in the aughts?
It's what's wild? I didn't even text you this yesterday. So I got a text message from somebody, and I can't say who it is, and I'll tell you offline. And we hadn't talked in like a year, and we were texting, and then he was like, "Hey, give me a call." And then he, we get on this call, man, and it was just an amazing call, And he started to fill me in who's in what position at my old agency.
Oh, okay.
I knew that place.
Like, I didn't see that coming,
up, dude. Yeah, but I knew that place was fucked up, and then he started to name who's a fucking captain and who's a deputy chief, and I'm just like,
wow.
God, I really fucking dodged a bullet, man. Like, I am so fucking glad I'm out of there. Like, those of you that are listening that have left an agency, like, you ever have that where you're like, fucking Joe Smith is now the fucking captain, and this was a guy that avoided fucking every call or didn't go hands-on, was a big fucking punk, like
in the rear with the gear, but he always had something to say.
Every single one of these, like the guy who fucked me over with my II investigation is now a captain. Like, they just love to fucking like promote mediocrity and fucking just the typical incestuous bullshit.
But why do we promote mediocrity? so you don't rock the boat. You don't want to exactly.
Yeah,
you can function, and you may not, and that's where I'm always into the, the John Maxwell's and the Stephen Covey's, go from good to great. How do you make your department great? And these people in my first episode was Yellow Brick Prick, because I remember that was just such an impactful episode, because everybody talked about Yellow Brick Prick. Yeah. And I was explaining this, we absolutely do not disparage the FBI NA program. What we disparage is, once you earn that brick, how do you display it?
Is it for you or for the agency? That's exactly what we're arguing. Is it you? Yeah. Like, are you doing this to add another signature on your email, which has
another acronym?
Like 15 acronyms on there, and you got every sticker at the bottom of your email. It takes 15 minutes for your email to load because you have so many fucking JPEGs. And then I can instantly tell, and we've talked about this on Yellow Brick Prick, I can instantly tell how much of a prick you are by coming in your office as a commander and how you display that yellow brick. The more you invest in that display, the higher the prick you are.
Exactly.
If you got mahogany with LED lights and shit around your brick
camera.
Yeah, I love this thing. That is the guy who is now the
don't forget the glass over.
Oh, the glass, dude, because
it's always dusted.
You don't want to damage a cement brick. And the guy who used to be the deputy chief at my old agency, who's now chief in Virginia, in City of Falls Church, that guy was the epitome of narcissistic display of yellow brick prick. He had this big fucking metal gold eagle. When I say big, I mean this thing was 3 feet long, displayed on a table that was just for that eagle.
Oh wow!
And it was the wildest fucking thing. And his yellow brick was displayed in nice mahogany with glass over it, with fucking lights on it. The only thing that was missing was dude, it was wild. And it's funny that you talk about that, because I'm on a couple of groups, law enforcement groups still, and there was somebody on one of the groups that was does anybody notice somebody that comes back from the FBI NA? Do they come back as a better leader and helping the agency? And dude, you wouldn't believe the amount of comments on that post was, no, they come back worse. And it isn't you and I just making it up. It's reality.
It's narcissist camp.
Oh, dude, it's to the umpteenth.
Again, we're not bad mouthing the FBI NA. Oh. It's the.
But they have to do a better job.
All out.
They have to do a better job on day one and tell people, listen, if you're here for the yellow brick and to put another acronym on your email signature, there's the door. Leave.
Yeah, you're in the wrong place, guys.
Yeah, stop.
I always wanted to go to FBI NA. So in my leadership journey, step 1, step 2, and then my boss was like, well, you ready to go to CLE, certified law enforcement executive? And I'm like, no, I don't want to go to CLE. In Ohio, they have the state patrol, The state patrol has, I got FBI NA on my mind. PSLA, Public Safety Leadership Academy. That's, I think it's 8 weeks or 18 weeks. I'm not sure anymore. But I wanted to go to PSLA because I heard everybody ranting and raving how great it was. Yeah. So, and my boss, you thought he just bit into a lemon. He's like, you ain't got a PSLA. That's the state patrol. And I'm like, I don't give a fuck who's putting it on. It's a great program. I've heard nothing but wonderful things. Yeah. I said, but ultimately, I want to go to FBI NA.
Yeah.
So, so we got to be cautionary. How do I word this? Anyway, I was telling the enemy what my goals were. I later found out, I didn't realize at the time, because at the time, we're all on the same page and I'm drinking the same Kool-Aid. Well, that was no way in fucking hell was that ever going to happen, because, and he would make sure of it because, he controlled the purse strings. He's like, no, he didn't tell me that. The actions proved. And that was about the time. It was 2015, 2016. No, it was a little bit later than that. But anyway, I was virtually telling the enemy what my goals were, and he absolutely used that as a point of leverage.
Yep.
So
because we eat our own, man.
Right. Well, so we talk about that, to get right back to your original question, the mediocrity. Well, you're just a Rice Krispie floating in the bowl. Yep. I will step on Nick's head because Nick is expendable. To get further, he's damaged goods, and he's, of course, then they start the propaganda against the officer. It's like the story's old as time, right? This guy's a model officer, perfect evals. He's in early, he's out late, he busts his ass the whole time. And suddenly, there's an IA against him. Oh, he's awful. He steals and blah blah blah. Just suddenly one day out of the blue, management starts twisting it and starts talking about what a horrible person you are. Yep. Well, nobody does that. I don't know if anybody. I mean, you have a bad day. Maybe your PTSD is getting the best of you. Maybe, your life at home's coming apart, and you're just not out your best. But only in law enforcement is one day you're the fucking greatest, and the next day we're going to do everything in our power to indict you.
Yep. Dude. And I got
sorry, I got on tangent.
No, you're good. I got tons of certificates and fucking totes in the garage. I got news articles on me. I got news stories that when I was in community policing, and all of that was erased. All that was erased once I put in for the lieutenant's exam. And I was bucking the system.
There's the kingpin. Yep.
Yeah, I was bucking the system.
And you kind of started this fucking podcast.
Well, you know what? I will say this: if I could go back in time, I would have shut it down. I would have shut it down, because when you're doing it and you're putting your thumb in somebody's face, you don't realize what damage you're causing.
Yeah.
And I was having this conversation with this person last night, and I said, I'm glad that APD did what they did to me, because it took me 5 years to realize, like, I wouldn't be in Florida. I wouldn't own this home. I wouldn't be in the financial situation I'm in right now. I would have been still there as a lieutenant, trying to get those double butter bars and become a captain, and like trying to chase that pension, which sucks, man. Like, the benefits suck. Even when you get out of there, you still got to get health insurance, and health insurance is fucking skyrocketing. Like, it's,
I'm going to be honest with America. You want to know what I pay for health insurance? Because I'm between 55 and 65. You know what we pay a month?
I can only imagine.
$1,700.
Jesus Christ, dude.
Now, OPNF is really good about giving us a stipend, but I'm still $700 out of pocket.
Yeah.
A month.
It's only going to get worse. It's only going to get worse, man.
I'm thinking about getting a job, and that's the next thing. I'm like, I don't want to go work.
Yeah.
Show up somewhere every day. I have to be. I don't want to do that. I like being retired.
Wait till these guys that leave find out that, they worked for that 25-year pension, but they still got to get a job that has benefits just to cover, your bare basics. And your pension, you have to readjust your lifestyle for your pension, because if you're making $155,000 a year and then you retire, you're not making $155,000 a year. You're only making a percentage of that as a pension.
Right. 60% of it.
Right. Your whole lifestyle is roped around your annual salary. So, and
overtime.
Correct. And that was my major adjustment when I left law enforcement. But in full honesty, my lifestyle was completely out of whack. Like, I was living paycheck to paycheck and then some. Like, I was relying on my DJ business, for supplemental income and to be able to afford this and that and this and that. Contrary to what APD believes, all of that equipment was purchased by me.
Right.
they have this. I'm not going to go into it again, but
Right.
that was an expense too. So there were credit cards on
Mhm.
top of that, where it was like, yeah, I was running a DJ business, but I was also paying that interest off to buy that equipment.
Right.
And had they have done their fucking due diligence, they would have been able to see that all that stuff was purchased through credit and
Well,
whatever.
but at the time they were throwing you on the OODA loop. They were
Mhm.
just keeping you on your heels.
Oh yeah, dude.
And that's
I mean, I wasn't
the
coming out of that.
punishment. Right.
I
The
wasn't coming
punishment's
out.
part of the process.
You-
And go ahead.
Yeah, I think where I was deluded for the first year or two was proving that I didn't do what they said. And then like 5 years later or 6 years later, I'm reserved to who gives a fuck? Who gives a
Yeah.
fuck? The only people I give a shit about is my family, my wife and my
Mhm.
kids believe
Mhm.
100% of what happened. And
Mhm.
anybody that I show the paperwork to of how this whole investigation came about, they're all like, this is completely fucking biased.
Yeah.
They
Because
deserve
they
each
had
other.
That's right. That's right. Because they had an agenda.
Yeah.
My joke used to be, there's a dartboard on the back of the chief's door in his office, and when him and the deputy chief and whatever minion they bring in there, I think they throw a dart, and there's a picture of each officer. They have their badge number, and wherever the dart lays on the board,
That's
that's
who you're
whose
picking on
life
this week.
we're gonna
Yeah.
fuck this guy today. So all right,
Yeah.
boys, let's make
And-
some shit up.
And I say this a million times on this show. Does it bother me what they did to me? Absolutely. I'm over it now. I'm over it. Where it's personal and I'll never let it go. Because we get a lot of folks that are like, oh man, it's been 6 years, you gotta let it go.
You're not ready.
Go through an
What we went
agency
through.
who's supposed to be professional, blocking your ability to earn even after you're gone. Even after you're gone, they got you out of there. They got you out of law enforcement completely. They got you blacklisted. You achieved what you wanted, but that's still not enough. Now what you need to do is you need to fuck up my ability to earn anywhere. And you have people like now that have been promoted to captain that were indirectly going to prospective employers and saying, hey, this guy did this guy did that, which is illegal. Yes. You can slap me with untruthfulness, but you got people now that are in a deputy chief position and captain positions within APD that did stuff that is illegal. Like,
you're accusing me of lying. You're breaking the fucking law. Oh, wait a minute. What's your job description? Hang on a minute. Oh yeah, it's law enforcement.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And I don't know of any electricians that swear an oath when they take their job. Do you?
No.
I mean, does anybody in skilled trade swear an oath? To be honest,
and
you're governed by a canon of ethics, and no, I can tell you that skilled trades don't, but we do in law enforcement, and that's been my thing. That I've always rang my hands in the air. It's like, what do you do when the chief lies? What do you do when the deputy chief lies?
More times than not, it happens
more. Amen. Amen.
I didn't even tell you this part. Like, I checked our email box. It's one that I don't check very often because it's not the Nick at Roll Call or Mark at rollcallroom.com. And there's somebody that wants us to appear on the show about what's wrong with law enforcement. I just responded back to them because their email was from a week ago. And what they're pleasantly going to be surprised about is that we don't have a law enforcement cop problem. Like, we don't have a problem where law enforcement officers are killing innocent people and doing unethical stuff. It's such a small percentage in this profession. But what we do have is we have a leadership problem, and we've had a leadership problem for 15 years. If COVID taught us anything, is we have a lot of paper tigers. We got a lot of fucking paper tigers as chiefs, deputy chiefs, captains, lieutenants. We have a serious leadership problem in law enforcement. There's none of these dudes or ladies, young ladies or women that I would follow into a gunfight. I would question everything.
Oh yeah, be like Segura, right?
Yeah.
We had I went out to dinner last night with I call them the CPR crew. It's they're both detectives and great, just wonderful human beings. And we're talking about coming to DC for 2027 Police Week. Kind of like,
Nice.
I want to go again. I'm in a good mental state right now. I think where I can go down and participate as much as I can as a retiree. Right?
Mhm.
I'm not going in uniform. I wouldn't anyway. Anyway, they were talking about that last night, and I was like, look, man, this is how you do it. And my one friend said, dude, we don't have any management that thinks that way now. Because I was talking about knock it the fuck off meetings. What's the sergeant doing? I said, my guys, you say, well, Mark's a micromanager. I'm responsible for you.
Yep.
So if we're driving around and I don't see you moving for a while, and I may send you an MDT message, hey, buddy, what's up? That's not micromanaging. It's you've been sitting behind the car wash now for 2 hours.
Yeah.
What are you doing? Yeah. What's up? Is it something I need to know about? Are you not feeling good? Are you fighting with your wife? Are you fighting with your girlfriend because of your wife or whatever? And if that's the case, okay.
Yeah.
We'll deal with that. But
motherfucker,
yeah, you're at work. So if you need to go and we got the staffing, I'll send you home.
Not even just that. As a sergeant, if one of my guys was just burnt out from working extra duty details or whatever, what I would do is I'd say, hey, listen, you're taking the paper calls. You want to sit behind the car wash? You take the paper calls. Let these guys go run and gun. Let these guys go be proactive, and you're going to do the paper. And 9 times out of 10, they're not going to argue with you. They're going to say, hey, listen, that's fine with me. That's fine with me. I'm not in mental space for me to start doing traffic stops and interdictions and shit like stuff that's going to get me hurt. But I don't think you see that anymore. I don't think you see that anymore because promotions now are based off of your how many times I fuck somebody over. Like these chiefs now are like, because the anti-police mantra has gotten so bad that it's a badge of honor now to hem up another cop or to be that douchebag commander that does nothing but fucking hem people up.
Yeah, sorry.
And nobody wants to work for them. Nobody wants to work for that shit, bro. Nobody.
Well, I think it's because, and God love our friend Travis Yates. He's like, oh, so you got that Maxwell book in the background. Yeah, I do. I got a whole stack of them. You know why? Because I believe in legacy leadership. And what is that, Mark? Well, a colleague of mine that I worked with, and this guy was the most loyal to Miami County Sheriff's Department as any person. And they finally fucked him to the point to where he left and he went to another agency. You know what, Nick? Within 4 years of being there, they promoted him. And I was so proud of him. And I work with him at the college, at the police academy. And I said, hey, man, good for you, dude. And the next day I brought him a Maxwell book. And I said, another sergeant from another agency gave one of these to me and said it's a game changer. And here's the one. Read a chapter a day. If you throw it in the corner, fine. But take this book and actually use it, because if you go to any leadership schools, not management, any leadership schools, they're going to reference Maxwell's 21.
Yeah.
You already got it done. I said, and they're going to want you to write a paper about it. And it's super easy to do because you've already read it. You don't sit there, oh my God, I got to read this book. Blah, 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 blah. That stress is gone. So take that one and read it because it's good.
Yeah.
But there's no mentoring anymore. And we were talking about mentoring even in the ranks of police officer. They come out of FTO, they kick them to the street. And where do the young cops want to magnate to? Towards the shit magnets. They want to go out, run a gun and do all the fun stuff. Me too. I did when I was young, but I had an old guy. He's probably 18, 19 years on the job. He pulls me aside and he says, hey, Mark. And he'd always been giving me tips, post, hey man, you may want to do it this way, or, I always hated, well, it don't matter to me how you do it, but, I always hated that term. No, I want direction as a young officer. But he said, take one under your wing and help them along. He said, that's how we make this profession better.
I'm going to add to what you just said. The problem the other issue is the field training officers now who are field training people have 1.5 years, 2 years on the fucking job.
And they're burned out because they've had somebody in their right seat for the past 2 years.
But when you and I were coming up, I remember at year 3, my sergeant asking me to go to FTO school, and I said no, I wasn't ready. I waited till I was year 5, and then that's when I went to FTO school because I wanted to be able to give back. And
sure,
that's
you
not
need
the
the stories, the experiences, and you need to know your city. You know, oh, that's Kiki. Yeah, she's a mental. Yeah, you know.
Dude, I watch. My wife likes watching the body cam, shows like Lauren Crime, which I fucking can't stand.
No, I don't watch that shit anymore.
No, I don't watch it.
I can't.
But,
it's not good for my mental health.
But when I do watch it, I get frustrated because you got the fucking blind leading the blind, man. You're like,
oh yeah. Well, but we all left. Think about it.
Yeah. Well,
I'm sorry.
Well,
I didn't mean to slow your
no,
roll.
you're good. I don't know how many of these cases are actually getting prosecuted because there's so many violations of the Fourth Amendment right, and just so many different things where you're just blindly searching vehicles without probable cause. You're going into trunks. You're going into a glove compartment box. You're doing things that all it takes is for you to take that other step and go get a search warrant. Because once you secure the search warrant, it's a lot easier to defend it in court, and all of the stuff is admissible because you went through and went to a judge or a magistrate and said, hey, I want to get a search warrant. I want to search this whole vehicle. They could attack the probable cause of the search warrant, but it's so much more difficult. But a lot of these guys and girls, they're just like, oh, I'm arresting this person. Now I'm going to search the whole entire car. I'm going to open up the trunk. I'm going to open up every suitcase in there. Oh, there's a head in there. Let me continue to search. Instead of saying, whoa, time out. We got all the time in the world. We got all the time in the world, bro. But there's one thing. Go ahead.
Good. Well, under the pretense of holding people accountable, some people don't know any better.
No.
And when you're the police and you're the administrator of law and order, and if someone blatantly, and I had an officer do this, she conducted an illegal search inside a fucking house based upon some bullshit her sister told her. Who's a dispatcher. This was a whole convoluted, fucked up call that I got in the middle of, but I was on pins and needles for 2 years, scared to death because she made an illegal arrest. She did not have the basic elements of the crime, and incarcerated this woman. Dude, I chewed her fucking ass out because I was emotional and I was angry. And I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? I told you go back to the station and do not fucking leave. And before I could get there, you took her ass up to the fucking jail. Well, I can't unarrest her now.
Yeah.
You've crossed the line. And I was scared that I was going to get up into a 1983 act. 2 years. That was in the back of my fucking mind every day. And I told her, from this point forward, fuck you, fuck your feelings. If you ain't doing it by the fucking book, you've been a cop for 8 years before you came here. We're done.
You know better.
But they pulled her off my shift after that, but because she was just so incorrigible and we couldn't manage her. But as a sergeant, those are the things we need to do and things we need to balance, and being that leader. So I'm going to wrap this block up with sergeants aren't sergeanting because and it's been my experience from feedback, is that the boss has taken their teeth and claws away.
Yep.
So you are a stupid visor. And most people, like my former agency, nobody there's allowed to make a decision. There's one or two in the Golden Dome other than the boss, but no one, all the sergeants are stupid visors. They can't make decisions. They can't manage. They can't do this. They can't do that. The chief has to do it all. My former agency made a complete 180, and they're like, oh, we don't understand why everybody's leaving. Shocker.
That blows my mind.
So we got some news that's come up, and
we interrupt your normal scheduled program to let you know you're still a bitch.
What is going on in this world, brother? What is going on? We have breaking news as we tape this. This is 2 or 3 days in. We have
glasses on. What's the date on that?
Karen
August 21st, 2026.
Solomon. Yeah,
yes.
Karen Solomon from First Help, Blue Help, whatever the fuck help you want to fucking label it. Wanted. Not for murder yet, for Massachusetts, a Commonwealth. So they have bodily injury with a weapon or some shit like that. We lost a 31-year veteran with the Worcester Police Department in Massachusetts. Her husband is no longer with us. Our thoughts and prayers are with his family. And she's on the lam. You know, she's out there fucking. There's her on video in shorts and flip flops, bopping down the street and into the woods, and nobody could find her. Those of you that have watched this show or have been fans of this show for a while, you know, we used to do business with Blue Help, and we severed our ties with them when they weren't calling out poor law enforcement leaders as a contributing factor to law enforcement suicides. There's been many conversations behind the scenes where I have gone toe-to-toe with Karen because Karen didn't believe that there is any data out there to support that poor law enforcement leadership is the reason why law enforcement officers are either killing themselves or trying to kill themselves, which is all bullshit. And that organization wound up turning into, you know, money grab, going to get federal grants. And yeah, have they done some good stuff for suicide survivors? Absolutely. But could they have done a tremendous more? Absolutely. But the problem is they fell into perpetual cycle, which is you can't buck law enforcement leadership and still get government grants and get welcomed into law enforcement agencies. Right. And it was almost like being in bed with the enemy. Like you refused to call out what the real problem was. And Karen had this ability where she convinced people that her organization was the best out there. And if you bucked her, and if you asked the folks over at Spinning Our Gears, if you bucked her, what she would do is she would send her minions after you, which is all of her survivor family widows, and become vicious and attack you behind the scenes. And that's what they did to Spinning Our Gears. They'll start attacking you on social media, and they'll start doing all of that stuff. And I just like to say,
I'm all about living a peaceful life, but
yeah.
From the outside looking in, and I just want to comment on the whole appeasing the chiefs, because if you don't appease the chiefs, you can't make your way to the officers. So, you know, in order to get to them, you have to go through. That's the conduit to the people. But you know, the one thing that rings in my head, because I can tell you that when I was sitting on the edge of my bed with my 40 in my mouth, I didn't know anything about this organization. Where were you when I was at my lowest? Where were you? You know, I didn't know anything about you.
Yeah.
But yet you're getting hundreds of thousands, because I remember you were talking a number.
We have their tax returns. That's what started it all. Was we started looking at their tax returns. They're taking in grant money. They're paying salaries. You know, they're shelling out a shit ton of money for like poker runs and, you know,
pizza parties and
pizza party care packages for listen. And there is a place for all of that stuff, and I get it. But if you're going to sit there and you're going to say, "Hey, we're the pioneers. We're the best out there for suicide prevention," you need to tackle the major issue. And these widows that would attack folks like us and the Spinning Our Gears, you can't tell me that before your loved one took their life that they weren't confiding in you about Commander X being an asshole and stressing them out and doing all this stuff. Because there's only a couple, not only, but the major reasons why somebody takes their life is their home life. They've got problems with their home life, and not just relationship problems, financial problems, addiction. Those are the top ones. And if it isn't that, what is it? And you as a widow, You should be asking those questions to Blue Help. Why aren't you guys entertaining? Why aren't you guys doing a study? Why aren't you funding a study where you start asking widows or widowers, hey, before Joe killed himself, what was he discussing? What was his feeling towards admin? And I venture to say that 99% of them are going to say that admin was fucking stressing them out. Their job, it wasn't the fucking gangbangers that were the problem.
No.
It was when you go back to headquarters.
You know the terms with those people.
Yeah.
We have a mutual respect.
Yeah. And we plugged them hard. The first year we were plugging them hard. They were all over our banners.
Bro,
they were all over.
Weren't you lecturing at Police Week because of them?
Yep.
You know, didn't you close out 2 years in a row? You were like the last lecturer, and
yeah,
you know, I was really proud of you for that. I didn't know you. I was a fanboy, but you know, it was like, hey man, look at Nick. He's down there and he's doing it, and you know. But then you peeled back a couple layers of the onion, and you're like, whoa,
yep,
whoa, oh, this isn't what I thought it was, because we've talked off air about it.
What happened behind the scenes that folks, you're getting a sneak peek into why we severed our relationship was, I kept asking Karen to come on the show, come on as a guest, and she wouldn't come on. And I was so wrapped up in my own personal stuff and you know, like bad stuff behind the scenes was going on.
You had a lot of plates in there.
I had a lot of stuff going on. A lot of stuff. And finally,
I was still walking in the fire.
Oh, dude, I was not a good person at that point. And so then I realized the reason why she doesn't want to come on this show is this show calls out explicitly the admin betrayal and the problem within law enforcement, and she didn't want to be associated with that at all.
Oh no.
And I said, well, you know what? I'm not going to use this platform where we touch tens of thousands of people to further your message when you're not going to do the same for us. And she was recommending podcasts that were fucking dog shit. And then they started their own podcast, which was dog shit. Right. And it was like, get yourself a coloring book. That'll ease your stress.
Journal. Right.
Like, no.
Dude, that's how I first heard about them.
Yeah.
Was the roll call room.
Yeah.
When you know, you and Mike were talking about it, you're talking about First Help, and I went and looked. I'm like, oh yeah, these places, or Blue Help at the time, but I didn't know anything about them. And you know, post the first time, I was going to kill myself, and then that is when I started. How do I say this? Just kind of keeping them in my thoughts, right? As a resource. I never used any of their resources other than going to look at their Facebook or whatever social media page and website. Jesus, my mind is shit this morning. But again, who reached out and touched anybody? She has to have the buy-in and that dialogue with the chiefs. Otherwise, you know, they're going to cut you off. Because remember, whatever state you're in, they all have a chiefs association, and I equate them to being a hive. They're the Borg. They all think alike. They all get together. They all talk about the same shit. I think that how we are in law enforcement today is because all of us old dogs got out, and that's why we are where we are. Because this situation was created. But I'm sorry, I don't want to go down that rabbit hole.
No. I'm suspect when the IACP backs you up. I'm immediately suspected. Like I suspect you immediately when you say the IACP stands behind you, because that tells me that you're a follower. Like you're not willing to buck the system. You're not willing to stand in a conference room full of 100 chiefs and say, you all are the problem. Maybe not you personally, but your role is the major problem. And until Police Week has a seminar where guys like you and I or Scott or Travis go in there and say, Does anybody know the number one cause of law enforcement suicides, or at least a contributing factor to it? And then just have silence, or maybe a couple of chiefs go, addiction. Yes, that is a contributing factor, not the number one, but go ahead. Relationship issues. Yep, absolutely. And then you say, it's you all, not you personally. I'm not telling you that Chief Smanson or whatever the fuck your name is the cause of it, because not all chiefs are the same. I see a lot of great chiefs out there. But if you look at the Northern Virginia small 50-mile radius, I can name 4 chiefs of police that are so fucking toxic that they're detrimental to their rank and file.
They all came from APD?
Oh, fuck. Yeah. They're like herpes, bro. They spread. They spread.
Yeah.
You know,
were getting fucked, and now you got so much more.
Yeah. I mean, you know, and then Blue Help restructures and calls themselves First Help, so now that they can encompass firemen, dispatchers, because the money grab is so much more. Now you don't have to just get government grants for law enforcement. Now you can get them for all these different professions within first respond.
And the more I'm helping, the more money I get.
Oh, dude, they're
and what was her?
Do
you remember what her salary was? She was paying herself.
You know, I haven't pulled their tax return, or they hadn't filed their 2025 tax return at the time when we did an episode. Folks, go back, look at our catalog. You can see we very
where would they find that?
Oh, they would find that.
Go ahead.
Do a Google search for nonprofit tax returns, and I can't remember what the site is, but the site that I use had everything. Like IACP is on there. They're always good for a good laugh. The amount of salaries, like the fucking director of IACP pulling in over $800,000 a year as a salary is ridiculous. While you're out there and the average law enforcement cop salary is $35,000 a year, this motherfucker is collecting 800,000 plus and shaping your chief's future. And it's all a circle jerk, man. It's all a circle jerk. And the Blue Help, First Help, whatever the fuck you want to call them, they're a contributing factor to it. This situation is extremely sad. I don't know her husband. Be honest with you, I didn't even know her husband was in law enforcement. Like, she kept that pretty quiet. At least the times I've spoken to her, she kept that quiet. That was a complete shock to me. I cannot wait to hear how this evolved. And I see the comments on their page, like First Help put out a statement, and then everybody's commenting, oh, you know, isn't that sad? She was struggling and she had an organization about, helping people, but couldn't help herself. Listen, you don't know this fucking woman behind the scenes. You don't know the fucking shit she was doing. You don't know how she was organizing vicious attacks against people like us and spinning our gears, and anybody that would speak ill against Blue Help or First Help, she came at them viciously. I hope they find her. I hope they find her alive. I hope they prosecute her if she's guilty. And if she's not guilty, she's got a lot of explaining to do, because you don't just go missing like that. But you and I have been in law enforcement for 25 plus years. If I'm a betting person.
I don't want to get ahead of my skis here. And well, and that's, we're like, okay, well, just let the story play out. Don't want to be too speculative. But under holding people accountable. As people like to say. And it's sad that the amount of money that's this organization has been given, why couldn't, and I'm sure it's probably a matter of channels, but, I really feel that this vehicle, the roll call room, has reached out and touched more lives positively than organizations like First Help. Because, how do you get the message out? We had a suicide here in my area in Ohio, And the guy literally lived less than a quarter mile from my house in the where the studio is. That was just a shocker. It's like, God damn it. I'd have drove over and said, bro, don't do this. Come live with me for a while, or, let's get you fixed. Everybody loves you. You're going to be amazed. If you could see your own funeral, how many people are sad, how many people support you. And the one thing to remember, so if you are one of those people right now and you're listening, get back to the 4 F's.
Yeah.
That's what brought me through my shit. And the first one is faith. A friend of mine gave me a book, and it's by John Burke. It's Imagine the God of Heaven. He's not paying us to say this, and it's not a plug it is a plug for the book, but the reason why it's a plug for the book is because it's so healing. It's about near-death experiences and people that crossed over what they experienced and then came back. And their whole perspective, and it doesn't matter what religion they were, they all had the same experience. I don't want to get deep into the book, but where I'm getting with this is be here tomorrow. You're important, you're loved, and you're going to be amazed at the people you didn't remember. And how I can relate to this is because when I was put on the shelf, when I was under suspension for 71 days, while the chief and his idiot deputy chief were trying to prove their allegation, which they didn't. Once I got reinstated, and my local paper, front page, color, hey, Mark's back. The comments on their Facebook page, I was off social media and I never saw this, and I shared it with you like a year or so ago. I sat here and wept reading all that because, oh yeah, I remember that guy. And everyone's saying the same thing. Oh, we didn't believe that. That was bullshit. We knew that wasn't you.
Isn't that reassuring though? Like it makes you feel
so amazing.
That's like people when I went through my thing, they distanced themselves from me. And here we are 5-6 years later, I have a couple, and it's been actually over the last 12 months more. People have reached out and text messaged me and said, hey, listen, I just want to let you know everything that you said was 100% correct. It just took me a while to realize that you're right. Yeah. Listen, dude, that makes you feel, and I'm not talking about knuckle dragger officers. I'm talking about people from APD that are lieutenants and captains over there that have sent me text messages and said, hey, listen, I couldn't say it at the time, and I thought you were a little crazy when you left, and I own it. I'm like, fuck yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah, it was.
Fuck yeah, it was crazy.
You get put in my situation, see how you act.
Yeah, your house disappears, your cars disappear, your finances. Yeah, you're going to go a little
Everything
nutty.
You work so fucking hard for, dude. And you lose, and then they're trying to take another lump of flesh.
Yeah. Now they're saying not only are we going to take what you got, but now we're gonna make it so that you can never get that stuff back again. And
the maliciousness.
Just it's so vindictive. It's you have no idea until you've gone through it. And Mark and I have. I want to say this before we wrap up, which is
holy shit.
The person who
seems like we just turned the mics on. Sorry.
The person who thinks about taking their life, the only suggestion that I can give, and there are a lot of people that listen to this that are struggling. I know this is gonna sound crazy, but it's not. Which is step away from the job for 3 years, and I guarantee you will not make that decision. And the 3 years is for a reason, because it's a sweet spot. It's a sweet spot. The first couple of years is a struggle because you still got your foot in the water,
in the door.
Yeah, you're like, I could still do this. Like I could still go back. I could still go back. You got to make the decision. Like when you break up with a crazy ex, you got to cut it off. you got to block.
Cold turkey, man.
Yeah, you got to block
communication for a minimum of 6 months.
Delete all the pictures. Like you got to get out. And I'm telling you, 3 years is the sweet spot. 6 years, bro. When I was on the call last night with that person that I'll tell you about after, he even said, he was like, you sound like a different person. And I'm like, dude, you have no idea, my friend. You have no idea.
Yes.
I'm sitting here in Florida. I'm a homeowner again. I got a beautiful home. I go to Disney every couple of days. I go to Universal once a week. And I'm not saying that to be braggadocious, but what I'm telling you is if you had told me 6 years ago that I'd be in that situation, I've told you you're fucking crazy. I would have told you that I'd be homeless.
Right.
And that's not the case. And
living in a storage unit.
Yeah, that's not out of coincidence. That's a lot of grinding. That's a lot of fucking grinding, man. It's a lot of, like, the job that I'm at, I was traveling around the world for 2 years straight. You remember? You'd message me and be like, oh, where are you today?
Yeah.
And it was
what airport are you sitting in now?
Yeah. When you know TSA agents by their first name at these airports, that's a fucking problem. And I'm glad I'm not doing that anymore. But you know what? It set me up for the future. But, we're at time. I will tell you this, which is there are a lot of great organizations out there that are good for help. Like Copline is another great one. You're thinking about doing something or you're having those thoughts. It's anonymous. You can call them Copline. I highly recommend them. Be cautious about some of these nonprofits. Do your research. Look at their tax returns. Look at what they actually do. There are places for these folks, but don't disguise yourself as something that you're not.
Right.
And I'll say that. My thoughts and prayers are with the Solomon family. Leaves behind 2 sons. I can't even fathom the idea of losing your father in that fashion, but even more the idea that it's at the hands, or possibly allegedly at the hands of your mom, and to lose both of them. I can't even imagine that. My thoughts and prayers are with you. The folks that are clinging to non-reality, you know what? Good luck to you. Good luck to you. If you want to make comments in the video, you want to make comments on our social media, have at it. I don't look at them. I don't really care.
But when you do, look out. Nick is quite witty and
thank you. When I'm on the shitter, just so everybody knows, those witty comments on our YouTube and our social media, usually when I'm taking a shit. So that's how much brain power I put into it. But Mark, take us home and we'll wrap this bad boy up.
Well, when we were talking about, and you're talking about doing your research and all that, I can tell you when I was ready to eat my fucking gun, those people were the last thing. I was literally at one point in my life getting through the next 60 seconds.
Yeah.
I distinctly remember that evening because it was the day I decided for the 3rd time, this is going to happen.
Yeah.
And it was literally minute by minute by minute.
Yeah.
And First Help, Blue Help, none of those fucking people.
I didn't even know who they were.
No idea, but I knew who the roll call room was. And thoughts of don't do it. Thoughts of there's a brighter day tomorrow. I think shortly after that, I reached out to you. You're so kind and gracious. You sent me your book signed, and I read it. And I thought that's where you were going earlier. Policeman will barricade. It's a quick and easy read, but it really shows. Yeah, it's really a glimpse into Nick's life at that time. And of course we're going to promote ourselves, but I'm sharing this with you before I was a co-host, when I was just out doing it. Right. And a lot of people, when they watch or they look into my story through the Shield Within, they're like, I had no idea. You, dude? Really? You? And my friend that gave me that book, he was just like floored. And I said, yeah. Oh yeah. I was there, bro. Not once, not twice, but 3 times. I was ready to end it because suicide was a good option because I was in so much pain. And, it's kind of a trio of trauma, right? My life was fucked up. I was separated from my wife. I'm banging this crazy woman. and now my administration's fucking with me. And the one thing in life, you have to have, every table has 4 legs, right? 3 or 4 legs, and you need to be able to carry that burden. And having those 3 good legs down with this, your faith, and your family and your career, you got to balance those 3. So when the career comes away, and I'll say this again, and some people listening are going to, not really, they're going to want to argue, but I'm telling you, admin betrayal is the worst kind of betrayal ever. Ever. It's worse than spousal. It's worse than girlfriend cheating on you. And it hurts for a long time because you were ready to lay your life down on this job for these people, and first responders, you run into a burning building to save a fucking family. You have no fucking clue who they are, but you won't take an hour out of your week and go sit with a therapist to help you. Remember, boys and girls, and wrap this up, you are number one, and it's okay being a man or woman of service to take care of you first. And that's why when we talk about the 4 F's, it's always faith first, whatever your higher power is, then your family, then friends, and then to wrap back up to you, what are you doing to serve you, having fun or doing your favorite activities? And going to work is not one of them. The job is not the fun, although it can be, but recreation. Get out of there, go on vacations like Nick said, have non-cop friends that keep you grounded. That way you get out of that vacuum. My daughter, I'll share this quick story. I know I'm rambling. My son-in-law has a friend, because he's a competition shooter. My son-in-law is kind of the guy in Oregon to beat, because he's like King Turd of Shit Hill out there. But he's great. I'm joking when I make that term. But one of the guys that's competing with him in competition shooting works for the federal government. And he's one of the 3-letter, I'm not going to say what agency he works for. And my daughter's like, my daughter grew up in a cop household, knows hundreds of cops, because, she's like, Dad, this guy's a fucking asshole. And he started talking like shop talk or roll call room talk amongst people who were non-cops. And the guy was just oblivious. He didn't know his audience. Yeah. And I think, how did she say it? I don't want to fuck. It was very racist. Like, let's go out and clean up these beaners today or something like that. It was just an outrageous statement. I'm ad-libbing that. It may not have been it at all. And Jen her jaw was hanging up. She's like, does this guy have no fucking clue? And I said, unfortunately, some people are that way.
Yeah.
And where I'm going with that is don't talk cop shit in front of the people you swear to protect and serve. Yeah. They don't get it. That's only for us at our table. Yeah. And that's the roll call room table, or the roll call room itself. I mean, not our podcast, but, at work. But when you're out, know who you're talking about, because that immediately left everyone there with ill feelings about law enforcement. And he's that guy. Don't be that guy is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I'll do a little shameless promotion since you said it. Police Mental Barricade. I be honest with you, wrote this book right after getting kicked out of law enforcement. Actually, the week after, when I pulled myself out of bed. I listened to this on audio because I got a New York City public education and I don't really like reading books. So
we need to have Dr. David do a reread on it.
Oh, we really do, because I'll be honest, when I listen to this audio book, it's like hearing the story of somebody else, because a lot of stuff I don't remember. And I'm glad that my therapist told me, hey, sit down and start writing a journal. And that's how this book came about. And it really gives you insight into somebody that I kind of call it the Jerry Maguire thing, because I had left and I knew I wasn't going back. And I was like, you know what? I'm fucking taking everything with me, including the goldfish. Fuck everybody. I'm burning this place down. And, it's very raw. The editing on it is not fantastic. You'll find a lot of errors inside the book, but it was a dash to get it published because it was therapeutic for me. So if you can't afford to buy this book or the audio book, you reach out to me at nick@rollcallroom.com and I will make arrangements for this to wind up in your hands. As always, we
very
appreciate
gracious
you
of your
tuning in.
blessings. Yes.
As always, we appreciate you tuning in. We will see you on the next one. Fuck you, Spotify.